So last year I showed you guys how I spot clean my 1300 square inch hamster cage. This time I'm showing you how I do the big clean outs. Unlike spot cleaning, these big cleans don't happen very frequently. Lemonade moved into this cage about 7 months ago, and so far this is only the 3rd time I've needed to do it, so it's approximately every 10 weeks. For your own enclosures, the time between big cleans is going to vary based on multiple factors, things like cage size, bedding type, the time of year it is, whether your hamster has a designated pee area or not. Lots of different things go into this. Use your personal judgment. I don't really have a fixed routine for what I do with these cleans. I just pick a section to start, work from there, and do whatever I find that needs to be done. So this time I started with this chamber hide because that was Lemonade's last nesting area. She recently moved her nest elsewhere, but I know she had some burrows underneath this and she's since filled them in. And hamsters are pretty clean animals, so you can usually take their lead on these things. Filling old burrows and moving out is a pretty clear sign for you to step in and do a little bit of a cleanup. I did clean the actual chamber hide not very long ago during a spot clean, so most of the nesting material is still untouched. So I'm just going to set that aside and put it back in later. Then I pulled out all of the substrate from underneath, and all of this will be thrown out and replaced with new stuff. Next I'm doing a surface clean, exactly as it sounds, just removing the entire top layer of substrate, which includes the paper topping and then a few centimeters of the burrowing layer. Essentially a big clean just focuses on the area of the substrate that are most used and therefore most likely to need cleaning. When you have a proper size setup and plenty of substrate, most of it will go untouched, which is why you don't have to clean everything out, only the high traffic areas. If you clean everything, then aside from causing a lot of unnecessary stress for your hamster, you'll also destroy their entire burrow system, including their newest burrows, and you're throwing away and wasting a lot of perfectly clean bedding. If it ain't broken, don't fix it, and if it ain't dirty, don't clean it. At this point I'm realizing that I haven't found her pee area yet. I've looked in all the usual places with no luck, but I did notice that in this front corner I could smell the pee, so it was definitely still here somewhere. If you ever want to know the trick for finding a lost pee corner, I'm sad to say, it is the olfactory system. So I pulled up this underground house and there it was, freshly used. Lovely. After pulling out all the bedding and using an antibacterial wipe to start cleaning the area, I realized that her toilet was actually inside the brick house, which meant I needed to clean in there. I was hoping to leave the brick house untouched because this is where Lemonade's currently nesting, so I would have preferred not to disturb it, but her health and hygiene has to be prioritized. She wasn't thrilled about that decision, of course. Most of her business had been done inside this PVC pipe, so I took that out and I'll be cleaning and disinfecting it after the video. And once again, removed all of the bedding and washed everything down with an anti-bac wipe. Once I was done with cleaning, it was time to put everything back together and add the new bedding. I'm using exactly the same as last time, a mixture of safe spruce shavings, meadow hay, and shredded tissue. Unfortunately, my old second-hand paper shredder has, after many years of good service, finally given up the ghost, so I'm having to hand shred all of the tissue until I can find a replacement, which aside from being very time consuming, also means the tissue strips are more chunky than usual, which I don't love. Not really much I can do about it, it's just one of those little things that bothers me. Layering different types of bedding that has different textures like this helps the burrow to keep its structure and prevents any unwanted cave-ins. I highly recommend using more than one substrate if you have the option to, even if it's just meadow hay, it will make a big difference. For the top layer I'm using coloured tissue because I think it just looks nicer, but I didn't have enough of one single colour to cover the whole area this time, so I just use a little bit of each, yellow, blue and green. I buy this tissue from pretty much any supermarket I find it in. It's just your standard kitchen tissue and a nice budget-friendly alternative to commercial paper beddings. When I do a big clean like this, I don't bother to replace any of the toys because I don't want to remove too much familiarity in one go. I'll let the cage settle for a week or two, and then I'll replace some of the toys to keep the enrichment fresh and interesting. And that's it, job done. Now normally this takes me about 20 to 30 minutes to do. Of course if I'm filming it, it does extend the time quite significantly, and I did forget to put Lemonade's water bowl back in, but I noticed my mistake shortly after putting the camera down and quickly returned it, so don't you worry about that, she has got her water. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to leave other video suggestions in the comments down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys whenever I see you.